What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, today we're going to talk about Bronny James here. I know what y'all thinking. Well, actually, maybe y'all are wondering, what am I going to talk about with regards to Bronny? Because I've already talked about Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. So that's not what I'm actually going to be paying attention to. I'm not going to be focusing on that. I want to actually focus on Bronny because there's a lot of drama and controversy that has been caused towards Bronny, whether it's with his teammates, whether it's with fans, social media, whatever the case may be. There's a little bit of drama, and there's a little bit unfair, too, towards Bronny. So I want to talk about that. But before we talk about that, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment, tell anyone about the show, because I'm trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But, again, like I said, we spoke about the Stephen A. Smith and the Bron situation earlier. So if y'all want to listen to that episode, go ahead. But currently, people's stance is Bronny sucks. Just get right straight to it. Oh, he doesn't deserve to be in the league. This is nepotism. We've heard all that stuff, right? I've talked about this on the show before this too, ladies and gentlemen. So a lot of this stuff I'm kind of regurgitating at this point in time. So it's kind of sad, but kind of comforting to know that I was at least correct. But my stance on Bronny has been he's a top 10 potential NBA player in his draft class. Pay attention to the word choice. In his draft class, he was top 10 potential for me. Off talent. And y'all might be wondering, why do I say that? 6'2" guard with a 6'7" to 6'9" wingspan and a 40-inch vertical who can shoot the ball decently. And keep in mind, too, Bron is his dad. So we at least know he understands the politics game of the NBA. Now, people try to say that Bronny sucks because of the numbers that he's displayed, and we'll get into that a little bit. But I want to give a little context real quick, because keep in mind, Bronny did have a cardiac arrest on July 24th, 2023. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I did think, well, you know what? Buddy's going to be okay. It was optimistic, right? I had to find anything that I could to give me some hope. I'm like, well, you know what? It's 3 days after my birthday. He ain't going to go out like that. You know what I'm saying? We got 24 in the number 2. Shout out Cole. You know what I'm saying? We got 23 in the number. Shout out Jordan. And even got Braun. Hell, we good. I had to try to find anything. And come to behold, Buddy did pan out well. He was cleared to play late November, and he debuted December 10th. Now, note that I just said July 24th to December 10th. Buddy was basically out of commission, really late November, out of commission, right? And we want to harp on numbers. We don't want to care about his high school McDonald's All-American game, who I say he rivaled Jrue Holiday outside of maybe the playmaking, I believe, that might have favored Jrue. We don't want to talk about those numbers, though. We want to talk about these college numbers. And I do get that, too, because, college is perceived better than McDonald's or the high school and stuff like that. But that McDonald's All-American game, you do want to focus on. But cool, let's pay attention to the numbers until you remember that he's playing behind Isaiah Collier. And this is after I just talked about the cardiac arrest situation. He's playing behind Isaiah Collier, who at one point in time was considered the number 1 draft pick. Later still got drafted in the number 1 round, in the first round, and was in the Rising Stars Challenge his rookie year. That's who Bronny was playing behind. Also, he played behind Boogie Ellis. I know y'all saying that's only 1 guard, right? Boogie Ellis. He's a 5th-year senior. So again, you lost a lot of time when you're Bronny. You missed like all of the training workouts basically in 2 months. But people want to focus on the numbers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, Bronny might actually be the type of player that has a slow start and then kicks it up. And whether that's by season, whether that's by career, that's my estimation of Bronny right now. Keep in mind, this has happened a couple of times, whether we're talking about Summer League, NBA G League, does not matter. But, again, y'all want to focus on numbers, right? So in college, Bronny did give 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. But here's the part where y'all are focusing on. The 37% from the field, the 27% from the 3, and the 68% from the free throw line. Those are ugly. I'll give you that. But again, remember the context where we're coming from, ladies and gentlemen. A cardiac arrest. You might not be able to get into rhythm because you're trying to get your confidence back. You just had a cardiac arrest, ladies and gentlemen. You got cleared. Still a mental thing to get over. I know for a fact when I roll my ankle, it's a mental thing I got to get over, right? Imagine what you got to get over when you're dealing with a cardiac arrest. I'm just saying. But, you know, we want to pay attention to solely the numbers. How about the Summer League where Bronny gave 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist? All right, cool. And again, the shooting was not good. 35% from the field, 16% from the three-point line. Ugh. But this time we got 100% from the free throw line. So we see a little bit of an improvement. But again, I get you on the numbers being low. I get you guys focusing on those numbers. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you got to focus on detail because he did stumble, but then did kind of turn it up a little bit. I remember one of my boys said he did poorly in the Summer League, but then when I sent them a game saying, hey, Bronny dropped 17, but he kind of quiet. So we kind of keeping that energy, that hostile energy when he does poorly, but then lose it and hide when Bronny does well. I mean, that's kind of trash. And I get you in the NBA where he was drafted by my Lakers, 55th in the second round. You would want to see better numbers than 2 points on 33%, 25 from the field, 25% from the three, and 79% from the free throw line. I get you. You want to see a little bit better. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a lot of BS that Bronny's had to deal with. I've said, well, you know what? He could play on the squad, but he also needs to get he needs to get his confidence up. That's been the biggest thing for me. And in the G League, he's been getting his confidence up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, he's given out 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So, again, when we're talking about Bronny, ladies and gentlemen, we got to remember that he is a competent basketball player. People are not remembering where he started from. We don't want to get a context. And now my fear is, well, people are being unfair towards Bronny based on what happened with Bron and Stephen A. Based on what Bron has said. And keep in mind, we can't like control what people say. Look at LeVar Ball, right? And I've mentioned LeVar Ball in comparison before. So you can't really control it. LeVar, you know, he put a little target on Lonzo's back. So you got to deal with the card that you dealt. But it's just unfair that Bronny might be looked at as soft or less than or not a good NBA player or not capable of lasting in the NBA. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all think that I'm just riding the bandwagon now because Bronny dropped 17 versus the Bucks in the NBA game, or he dropped 35 in the G League recently, no, that's not why. Because I've never been off the bandwagon. Y'all are just late, and it's okay. Because we have casual fans who don't pay attention to everything. But again, the whole context that I just laid out, I hope you really paid attention. And I hope that y'all have changed your mind for those who said Bronny sucks. I'm not talking about all NBA level talent. I'm talking about somebody who could remind you of a Jrue Holiday. Who could remind you of a Jrue Holiday? Jrue might be the better player end of day. But from what I've seen, I can't imagine a world where Bronny does get to that level of play. A solid starter. And I'm not talking about Jrue's career, by the way. I'm talking about just what Bronny would ultimately be. Solid starter. Possible even a fringe all-star, depending on the years and times, stuff like that. I could genuinely see that. Or I could just see a solid role player on a championship team. But either way, we gotta pump the brakes on Bronny. We have to. Good or bad, actually. Because there's a lot more basketball left. So definitely tune in. But ladies and gentlemen, I am curious what y'all now think of Bronny. So definitely, please like, subscribe, comment. Tell anyone who's anyone, 1, about Bronny, I guess, and 2, about the show. But my name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.